It's like a kraken.
Which hand goes first?
Oh,
which one looks like an S more?
This looks more like an S to me, doesn't it? Yes. No, the other way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Kraken.
It's actually. Oh, do you think the fans do that? The Seattle Kraken? Do they?
Oh yeah, they're all like.
Do they?
Like very angry.
Are they?
No, I don't know.
Oh yeah. Hockey players probably can't make this shape with their hands.
I don't. Anymore. Yeah, they probably can't, and the fans are probably not making that hand gesture in the games. Well, there are probably other hand gestures.
It would require somebody to put their beer down.
Yeah, that too.
You can't do that.
No corny dog, no beer, and making the Kraken S, which is not a dragon, as we've.
It's an illusion. That's an allusion.
It's like a tentacle.
Allusion to the episode sketch.
Yes.
Of Kraken, dragon.
It's all about graphic design, folks. It's in how you develop your brand.
That's true. But if it confuses some to believe that it's a dragon,
then you're not selling that third kit. So,
oh, well.
Speaking of third kits, like it almost sounds like it might actually happen in Austin. It's not going to be a third kit because that would be way too big a step for that club at this point. But tomorrow is the official Austin FC keep wanting to say it because I keep wanting it to be the third kit. And for folks, the third kit, so you've got the home jersey and you got the away jersey, and then you've got the fun jersey, right? So it's the marketing, gurus who've decided we've got a good fan base. We got a good thing going here. Let's sort of rework that logo into that sort of like if you know kind of situation, and you've got that extra logo or that extra kind of color weave or some kind of nuanced trivia about your fandom. And in Austin, that nuanced trivia is going to come true with their new away jersey released tomorrow. There's been some leaks online, but it's going to have an armadillo.
Cool. Is the Verde? Do they? Is it like the fan group armadillos?
No. Like he's not with me today because I'm not obviously in the home studio. But if you do watch an earlier episode or two, sometimes you see like a gold armadillo over like my shoulder, sitting on the shelf. And so there's a history of the armadillo trophy related to Austin soccer. And so there's that, but then that traces its history back a little bit further to the Armadillo World Headquarters, where Willie and Waylon used to play.
The World Headquarters of what?
It was a music venue, like a famous music venue in Austin called the Armadillo World Headquarters. It was basically like an airline. It was like kind of a really ramshackle warehouse, kind of, grungy kind of space.
I like that. I like it. I like that sort of not pop culture history, but more.
That's totally
urban legend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for those folks who didn't get to experience it, like, namely me, and others and all my friends, because we were too young it was already gone by the time most of my friends got to school in Austin. And I didn't move there till, long after that myself. But our good friend of the show, Jason, who has written some books about the Austin music scene and its influence during that time frame, is super excited that his worlds are colliding with the Armadillo World Headquarters and the new Austin FC jersey. So
Oh, I like that. I do like, I did need the explanation of the third kit. Well, first of all, I don't. I've not been as steeped in football, soccer
We're working on it though. Like,
history, and so I never really called jerseys, uniforms, kits. It's like
until
a
this
soccer thing.
podcast. Until this podcast.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with the NFL has like the alternate jerseys or alternate uniforms. College football, they call it an alternate, but they don't call it a kit.
Right. Not the third, right? And so,
They
yeah.
don't. Yeah, they don't call it third. I mean, some teams like in college have like one every week, like
Right.
Oregon.
Oregon, exactly. There would be like on like their 6th or 7th kit.
Yeah, like Nike is in their backyard, so
Well, it's like when the
everyone's
marketing,
original.
yeah, like when the marketing genius wakes up in the middle of the night and goes, "I've got this idea."
Yeah, what was the guy's name? They made a movie about him, didn't they? The Shoe Dog, right? The Nike guy. His nickname was Shoe Dog. Oh, anyway, I don't. Have you
Wow.
not seen the movie? Well, there's Air,
I
right?
haven't seen Air yet, but
Oh,
I
that's good.
want to. But I want to. Yes.
Yeah, it's good. Ben Affleck plays. Was it? It's not Phil Knight. It's Knight. So, now I'm forgetting everything now.
Wow, like the whole memory just
The
like,
Nike guy.
yeah, he plays the Nike guy.
The
No,
Nike guy.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
So,
It's a good movie. Matt Damon.
speaking of, the Boston boys there. So you watched the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
up or down on was their Dunkin' Donuts, was that
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
totally,
saw that one.
totally on point or what?
That was my favorite. I mean, I I grew up in the East Coast, so I ate Dunkin' Donuts all the time. Not just the donuts, but the egg and cheese and a coffee and a donut. That's a very East Coast thing. But see, yeah, those guys, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. And they even had Tom Brady in there.
Yeah.
Which was it was a lot of fun.
Have you seen some of the outtakes that they've also put on? Like
Oh no.
there's like a whole level of additional official outtakes, which are almost even better than the actual clip itself.
I'm sure. I would imagine.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Matt Damon, Ben Affleck going at it.
Apologizing. Yeah, it was good.
It was a lot of fun. I think that was my favorite. I don't know. I'm trying to remember if there was any other. I don't know. There was I don't remember. It was like a candy. I can't remember. Anyway.
I mean, Beyonce drops a whole like.
Oh yeah, there's that. Yeah.
That was
that was cool because we've actually been watching Arrested Development again, this series, and that so that Tony Hale is Buster Bluth. So that was a lot of fun to see him being Beyonce's assistant. He's a good actor. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Have you listened to her new music? I did. This is our longest green room ever. But
actually, what's funny? I was doing my thing this morning with the students, where the sketch in the class, and it's still I do it around with attendance, so it's not like we're in the meat of the class yet. And I got to one student, and he was watching his phone, like Instagram Reels or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, so what's that guy talking about?" He's like, "Oh, he's talking about how old people shouldn't put out new albums anymore." And I was like, "Who's he talking about?" And he said, "Beyonce." And I said, "Oh, okay. I guess she represents my generation a little bit. I mean, she's a little younger than I am, but so newsflash, Beyonce is old news
no, I'm sorry.
to some. I
Yeah.
mean, to 20 something. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, because apparently this is going to be a country album.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did listen to I listened to both tracks actually. And I mean, they're both one has more of a gospel kind of feel. But the other one, the Texas Hold'em one with the banjo at the beginning, that was cool. Very unexpected. I liked it.
You got to show love for your Texas.
Oh yeah, totally. I mean,
your Texas people like
Beyonce. Yeah.
Bay Eye.
I mean, well, it's you had that, and then as we were getting on here, I was teasing you about it, but Pearl Jam, world tour, brand new album, brand new single, killing it, awesome.
Well, I gotta listen.
But old people, apparently, it's old people music, according to your students.
That's
Jeez.
That's like retiree music.
Yeah, I know.
I had to laugh, and the student, I've had him in class before, and so we knew each other enough, and it was for that was an interesting start to the morning. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. What do you call it? What's the word?
Took your legs out from under you?
Well, the speed at which the internet moves now, right? And so the age of things gets shorter and shorter,
Right.
But we don't need to talk about our ages right now.
No, or dog years or any of that kind of other stuff. Yeah.
In dog years.
Yeah, in dog years. Yes.
Well, you want to get into the formal part?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Hey, Jamie, how is it going? Was that a 2?
Yeah, like the hand gestures. Yeah, it's
2-0.
Yeah, I'm getting good. Like hand signals.
What do you
put me in, coach? Yeah, I'm going to be like that assistant coach on the sidelines with those,
stealing signs.
Well, I'm not going to steal. Like it's not. I don't want to be a catcher. I mean, don't no. That's we're not talking about the baseball podcast.
Harbaugh still won a national championship by stealing signs. So
yeah, well, that's probably true. Yeah, you do live in Michigan, so just be careful. Saying that.
I'm glad they won, but yeah.
Are you glad that he's at the Chargers now? Did anyone tell him that that's also the Chargers? No offense, but
well, when they offer you twice as much money to go per year. But the other thing that given the little drama that he's had this year, it gives me, as a USC alum, it gives me a little flashback of when our favorite coach Pete Carroll left amidst some scandal to avoid sanctions and all that fallout. So I wouldn't be surprised if Michigan gets slapped with some penalties of some kind. But anyway,
drama to start the podcast.
Oh yeah,
always fun.
Bring the drama. How about you?
I mean, this is episode 147. I mean, the drama is that where's episode 145 and 146? But
I gotta go. Take me out of here. Oh man, I can't catch a break today.
No.
I guess thanks.
But so, coffee of the day. What's yours? I have a good story for mine.
Oh well, I'll get mine out of the way then, because I don't have a story. But remember, I picked up. I think I showed the bag on in last month or so. It's a Sputnik. It's a brand out of Chicago. I grabbed another bag, so it's like a dark roast, medium dark, and a little chocolatey. It's pretty good. Too bad the bags are only like 8 ounces, and so they go quick.
Super concentrated.
Well, no, I think it just I drink it fast, and
Oh,
so it just disappears faster than say a 1 pound or 12-ounce bag.
it's a marketing strategy.
It's quality and quantity.
It's all about marketing. We did talk about some Super Bowl commercials in the green room. One of which was, I thought you were going to say, in honor of the Super Bowl commercials, you went out and got Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Little Dunkin'.
Yeah.
No. Well, I do. Well, I told you on my stop to campus on my drive, I do pick up a little Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
From time to time.
Just between us and the listeners.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, what about you? Tell us the story of the day.
All it is like it's sort of in the same spirit of the Dunkin' Donuts. It's the travel coffee. So we don't have the Tim Hortons here for the quick travel coffee, but it's a Buc-ee's coffee.
Oh. Still too far away for up here in Michigan.
Yeah.
I think I got to go to Ohio for that, and that requires going to Ohio.
Right.
So is it good, Buc-ee's? Because you've given me grief about gas station coffee before.
Well, I mean, for a gas station coffee, it's at least consistent, and that's maybe not the right way to start out, but I'll say it's.
Well, I'll let it go, I guess.
It's fresh. It's coffee. Yeah. So there we are.
That's the story.
Yeah.
I mean, we were joking about Jamie's in the proof of life room.
I need a newspaper.
The closet,
newspaper just out of reach. So
yeah. Say who's the president? What day is it?
Yeah.
All those fun things. Well, I know where Jamie is. He's on this live stream. So
yeah, here we go.
Just proof enough for me. So, before we talk about the sketch, because I know we're gonna dive right into a fun sketch. We have hand gestures, signals to steal, things like that. Because are those minutes? Are you giving me
it's like a shot clock.
It is a clock. Oh yeah. How many grumbles? Well, real quick. And just because I already acquired the time, from the speaker.
Are you
taking the floor?
Taking the floor and then also reclaiming your time? Is that what
reclaiming my time? I'm reclaiming my time. Yes. This is just more like an announcement and thing to follow for us, and lob it into friends like Cormac and Evan at ArchiSpeak, or our friends at Practice Disrupted. But there's an interesting goings on in the academic world between NAB, the accrediting board for architecture schools, NCARB, which is the licensing organization that kind of takes care of testing and licensing, and ACSA, which is another scholastic or collegiate architecture member group. And I don't want to get into all the nitty gritty and all that stuff, but it does bring up, and NCARB kind of landed with this, an interesting point of view toward making a 4-year degree an accredited professional degree, which could lead to shortening the overall time one would spend in school, which also then would lower the cost, which would in concept open up the opportunity to more people being able to afford an architecture degree and a professional degree to get a license in architecture. So broadening the tent, where we talked a little bit about bigger tents and inclusivity, diversity, equity, inclusion, stuff like that, getting more people to into the practice of architecture. So
and trying to eliminate barriers. I mean, it's a very old system that for decades and decades, everybody's just recognized how old it was, and any moves to alter it were always seen, and probably rightly so, as just sort of like playing at the edges. Not necessarily getting to the core, issues within the education of an architect and the practice of an architect and the maturation of an architect, and who those architects are. I mean, God forbid we actually talk about, what the complexion of the, of the profession is, percentage wise, kind of where, who, how, all those types of things. But all of those things now, and really in the last, decade or so, and even more so probably in the last 5 years or so, have really accelerated in terms of those discussions. And so what you shared with me, as a current faculty member, kind of reading some of this stuff, and me, I mean, I as a former faculty member, also somebody who was at the time they called it IDP, it's called AXP now, but an internship coordinator, and I was a faculty coordinator when I was teaching. And then as a practitioner, I've had plenty of people, that I've mentored and supervised and all those types of things. So it is a complex process. It's certainly one that it's not easy to look at even when you're in it and kind of understand it. And so what you sort of shared about that there's these kind of bigger, broader questions. Yeah, I mean, keep asking the questions. I mean, I welcome it. I don't know if I completely understand all the things that were being, positioned there. There seemed to be some financial kind of back and forth that to me sort of muddies the bigger issue, which is, like you said, can we have more architects? Can we train them in a different model that is shorter and that reduces the barriers to entry and reduces the barriers along that system, so that we don't lose people who are, quality to our practice? And then consequently also, if we're training them, do they have to traditionally practice as an architect to even be considered one? Can we have that bigger, larger community of folks who are contributing to the practice of architecture, or contributing to a dialogue about architects and the built environment and all the other things that oftentimes we find ourselves dealing with, in our communities, and sort of backing out, in our communities and sort of all the other issues. So I think it's one that I think we should tackle a little bit more. But I think it's a great tie-in to the sketch today too, at least sort of as a sort of a tip of the iceberg, not an ice rink, for obvious reasons. That's the tentacle.
Inside joke of the day. That's it. There we go.
Yeah. So like in this case, it's yeah. So lots of folks.
Whoever's watching they'll if you know.
Yeah. Gosh, I hope there's a screenshot of this.
We can. Well, we're recording, so yeah. I'll grab that timestamp. So, well, we recently passed the Lunar New Year, so we are in the year of the dragon.
We are.
Or I thought, as I said on your Facebook or Instagram post, the year of the Kraken, huh?
Yeah.
Which is where we're getting into our inside joke. But well, why don't you explain? I mean, well, I'll just say it's a very fun. It's a sweet dragon drawing. Dragons are mythical creatures that have mythical powers, and this is a pretty cool iteration or concept of a nice silhouette dragon breathing fire onto some mid-century architecture.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever been there. I know you've studied it in school, but Taliesin West. So Frank Lloyd Wright, had Taliesin East, or the original Taliesin, in Wisconsin, That's one for the trivia night, down the street. Where was Taliesin? Where was Frank Lloyd Wright's, first kind of major residence and all that fun stuff? School, Wisconsin. Who would have guessed it? But the Taliesin West is actually in Arizona, and has developed into an architecture school, and only very recently they've actually it lost its accreditation. So tying it back to your NAB discussion there, and they've also closed the school. But it was Wright's residence, and then he also had all his acolytes and students there for decades. I think I believe the building was built in 1937, and it's a pretty sprawling location. I did have the opportunity to visit it once. I actually got to take my students on a Maymester there, and was able to go to some sites in New Mexico and then also in Arizona. So Chaco Canyon and sort of the New Mexico Arcosanti in Arizona, Palo Solari, as well as Wright's Taliesin West. But in touring the site, one of the things that was a little bit of surprise, because it wasn't something that I was aware of. I'd read of these sort of connections to sort of iconography and things like that, and sort of, like you said, sort of this mythical images. But and we all know about his interest in Japanese architecture as well. And the dragon is an actual statue. It is a fire-breathing statue on the campus at Taliesin West. So the sculpture actually does breathe fire. And so if you do the night tour, this is sort of the insider knowledge, is definitely do the night, the late afternoon or evening tour, so that you can see them light the dragon too. It's pretty great.
Oh, that's cool. I actually the sketch has this well, now that you've revealed that it's Taliesin West, has the building in the background and the roof overhang with the sort of motif of these sort of darts or arrowhead shapes that Frank Lloyd Wright kind of used throughout some of his textile blocks and things like that. So I saw that just a little corner of the dart head, and I was like, oh, I'm pretty sure this is probably a Frank Lloyd Wright building. And then I didn't actually know about the on-campus dragon and the fire breathing. I actually haven't been there yet myself. Never made it quite there. And now, so I lived on the West Coast, didn't make it that far to Taliesin West. Now I live in the Midwest. I still haven't made it far enough to Wisconsin to get to the original Taliesin. But I did get to the Johnson Wax building last year.
I know that was a lot of envy, a lot of architecture envy here for that. I'd say that, one thing that, with the sketch, and thanks for saying that the silhouette of the dragon was really effective. Cause that's where the sketch sort of grew out of. There's many times where we talk about, well, how did the sketch start and kind of how did you plan it out? And so because it was the year of the dragon, and I was trying to think of something that was architectural, and honestly, some of the earliest thoughts that I had were places in Japan that's a trip I haven't made that I would really like to do, and there's Urata Isesaki buildings that I'm really fascinated with. And Tadao Ando, of course, but this is one that sort of just kind of came up to the memory bank, and I went and looked through some of my photo albums from this trip, and had some where I was trying to capture the flame coming out of the dragon and all that good stuff. But it's a really unique feature on the grounds. The grounds are beautiful. You're in sort of that Sonoran type desert, kind of that people think of Arizona and that area, the desert. So it's cool at night, and so it all sort of makes sense a little bit. But then the stone of the building and that kind of real Frank Lloyd Wright red that you're talking about with some of those architectural details, all very present. Even in a sketch like this, once it's sort of revealed, what it is, you can start to imagine this black and white sketch with those kind of richness of textures and colors and flames. Gotta have flames.
Well, that's the last thing I'll say in general about sketching. Sorry if there's a little feedback, but this morning with the sketch, I actually pulled a little bit from our conversations, and I asked the prompt today for a sketch for class was about a monument, right? Pick a monument, either Google one or from memory, which the fun little joke we had in class was that like half of them, a quarter of them, I don't know, a third of them picked the Washington Monument. But then I said, simple doesn't always make it easy, right?
Right.
The obelisk shape of the monument. But I was thinking about, and I for those that for those students that are listening, because they've figured me out, they know the podcast exists. Hopefully are looking, watching and the sketches that Jamie does, because it has crossed my mind to make the prompt draw water or sky or fire for this case. And I'm not quite there yet. I'm probably gonna get there before the end of the semester, but it will be fun to in the vein of like how we go kind of fun to look at your sketches again, or do these podcasts with you and kind of think about like the various methods, from a technique standpoint of drawing different elements, literally elements, right? Fire, air, water, things like that have, so there's meaning, but there's also complexity and difficulty, and how to render these sort of things. And I had a little moment of the feel goods after class, and I asked a few of them that were kind of hanging around, and they do still appreciate this exercise. It gets them to kind of wake up a little bit and use their limbs, their sketching limbs and all that.
Well, it's. I mean, I still do that. I mean, I've said it many times, is that I need it to kind of clear out the cobwebs, in the brain, and challenge myself. I mean, and it's, even if you're sort of feeling a little unfocused or something like that, a really good 10-15 minute sketch can really help you think. Even if it's not a fully fleshed out drawing or something like that, I think just the exercise, and like you said, the challenge of it. This one was the challenge of okay, I got to get this fire right. And what's that going to be? In this case, it was a lot of stippling. I was trying to figure out how to do it when I knew that there was plenty of texture in the background that I also wanted to pick up on. And really that silhouette of the dragon came through first, and that was the easy part. And then it was, how do you start to layer those spaces and these other things? There's some lots of plants and sort of things like that. So it was like keeping those super simple. Real quick lines, quick gestures, so they have a little more ethereal quality. But yeah, the stippling on the fire, it's okay. It's not great. But it was a good attempt. I'm glad I tried to do it.
Well, I think it's a pretty good looking fire, but yeah, no, thanks. I think Jamie's going to give me the hand signals.
Yeah, insert fire emoji right now.
No, thanks. This is a lot of fun as always, and yeah, I think there's some traction and momentum going with the sort of parallel activity of the classroom, of what's going on. And so I have a stack. It's a little messy in this home office because I got stacks of student sketches everywhere that I need to scan and get uploaded and all that fun stuff. But but yeah, I'll let you go, and look forward to the next chat.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks, man.
Whoops.